Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our weekly market outlook. Today being August 8th, 2022. Happy to have you all here. To begin with, we would be looking at the fundamentals we can expect this week, and we are in forexraffi.com. You could see clearly on the screen, we have a very quiet week as regards to the fundamental news or high impact news or news in general for the week. You could see it's all just about 7 or 8 of them. Today being Monday, there's just the NZD inflation report. The only key things I can see here are the CPIs on Wednesday and also the GDP for the GDP and the clearing for on Friday. So beside this, so this means we're going to have a fairly straightforward technical based week, more or less. So what remember, we don't trade the news, or I don't trade the news. We just pay attention to those high impact news and maybe avoid those certain times or look to, partial out or protect our profits if we're already in those positions. So let's jump over straight to the chart and let's look at some instruments. We're going to start off by looking at the DXY, which is the dollar index, and it measures the strength of the dollar against against the major baskets. Now, I highlighted this area for a while. As a matter of fact, while price was up here, we highlighted this area. It's indicating that we'll probably see a weakened dollar at least up until this point before we potentially start to see a bounce. And, from last week, I think Wednesday or thereabouts, we started having the bounce from the dollar. I'm looking to head high. Now, if this is to mean anything, if this is to be held, then we're likely going to see a stronger dollar this week. Looking at the technical, especially looking at the fact that there are not really many fundamental news that could really disrupt the markets too long. We are probably looking at a bullish week for the dollar, right? The dollar might be looking at a strong bullish week. So keep that in mind while you're looking to get into positions, and the markets might want to head its way up. Now, this is the dollar index in itself. It just measures the strength against the dollar. Now, it might not be exactly the same across the board, but we should be looking at least based on personally what I'm looking at, is the potential strengths in the dollar. So with that in mind, let us actually begin by looking at euro dollar, the most popularly traded instrument. And then let's see my outlook for the week. Remember, we're looking for a stronger dollar. The technicals is pointing toward a stronger dollar for the week. And the dollar has been very strong. You can see how it's Euro USD has been bearish for the longest of time. And so right now, I was still expecting this further bearishness. My overall bias is to see price come back down here. That's actually my bias, looking to see price come back down toward this region. I have 2 areas I'm interested in selling. But however, there's a possibility the price doesn't get there. Price might just continue to push down, in which case, like I always say, like I made mention of, success in this game is all about planning and then looking to execute your plan and having rules, sticking to your rules, and using proper risk management. Now, so looking at this, knowing the fact that we might be expecting or anticipating a stronger dollar for the week. What that then means, therefore, is we could start looking for potential setups to get involved. So as you can see, I am interested in selling, but from this area here. So if we look at this, I'm looking at something of this nature where I would be interested in getting into a sell position. If aggressively, I could put my stop loss just above here. But conservatively, maybe just beyond the structure. Now, I don't usually tend to place pending orders because I want to see confirmation when price gets into my region. So this is one that could likely happen probably today or thereabouts if the market is really interested. If we see price, I'm interested in selling, but I want to see price come up to this area and then look for the confirmation to sell. Now, my overall target would still be the lows, the current yearly low. And that will be my target on this one. But definitely, I'll be looking to partial out across board as if price continues to deliver the way we expect. So on euro dollar, I'm bearish for the week. I'm looking to sell from around 1.02 to 88 thereabouts. I'm looking for a bearish a reason to go short from that area, as you can see on the screen. So Euro USD, I'm looking to sell. Would also go over to Euro. So let's also look at Euro AUD, another pair I also quite like the look of it. So Euro AUD is one where we got into a very lovely position for last week. You could see our initial entry. I talked about this one. I think I talked about this one on Monday on the weekly outlook, either on Monday or the cutting edge class on Tuesday. And we had a beautiful trade setup that delivered to me something like 1:5. I think 1:6 or thereabout, although I partialed out as price continued to move. I am still interested in looking for bullishness in this one. My current trade here, I've taken partial and my stop losses are break even, but I would still be interested in getting involved on this buy trade if we get confirmation. So notice how, let me just, so since making this low, so let me draw out this. It's my parts too. Okay, so notice how price has been making lows, like, okay, this is not clear. Price has been making lower lows and lower highs. Market has been bearish, and this bearishness has been in place up until this low. Now, since making this low down here, notice what price has begun to do. So let me make this line. So you can see how market has been bearish. Now, since making this low down here, you could see what price has done. It has since then made a high, which actually is higher than the previous high, and made a low, which is also higher than the previous low. So putting in a bullish structure, and then it has put in a new high, which is also higher than the previous high, and also appears to make a low, which is also higher than the previous low. So right now, I'm expecting a new high, right, to get up into this area. Now, overall, I'm actually looking to sell from this red area here, but I'm anticipating that we see price come back up here before eventually breaking down. Now, the reason I'm looking for this breakdown here is based on the higher time frame structure, but I'm still looking for this setup for price to get up to all the way up here. So the question now be, so how potentially looking to trade this? Now, so this is the 1 hour chart, right? If we look at, let's say, the 15-minute chart setup here, you see that the market has been bearish, and I actually quite like, this. So I don't need this anymore. Actually quite like this area here to see if price comes down to this area. So if price comes down to this zone, I will be interested in looking for a bullish setup. You could actually be looking for something like this, where if the market breaks this trend line, so preferably if the market taps into this red zone and breaks this trend line, so if something like this happens where price taps into it and then breaks the trend line, that could serve as confirmation to start buying, start getting those highs, right? So Euro AUD, I'm bullish for the week. Euro USD, I'm bearish on that one as well. Okay, so let's also push forward and would also look at CAD JPY. CAD JPY is another one I also want to talk about. I think I sent out this one as well. So CAD JPY, let's look at the daily setup here. I spoke about this one last week as well. Please keep your mic muted. Who is faithful? Please keep your mic muted. I spoke about this one last week on the weekly market outlook. I think so. So this was, I think, on Tuesday on our cutting edge trading room or the weekly market outlook. When price was, let me take this off for now. At the time I spoke about this in the live class, the market was down here, somewhere like here, right? And this was a very big bearish candle. And I made mention, I'm sure some of you were in the class, I made mention of the fact that I'm sure everybody is looking at this. Oh, last week, everybody was getting into the euphoria that the yen is now ready to get strong and, all the yen pairs are going to fall. And I said, well, I don't quite agree. And as at the time I spoke about it, price was down, somewhere around down here. And I said, well, if price takes out this low, then I'll be probably interested in selling. I probably would not be interested in selling, but at least I could start empathizing with sellers. But I said, because I anticipated that we would see the markets close back aggressively back above this level. And before the end of the day, we had this push. I think I got into it. I did get into a position here. And I talked about that one. I think it was in the cutting edge room. I talked about the setup and we got into a trade. Now, so as it stands, as far as I'm concerned, we're still in, so if you zoom out, you see we're still in a bullish market. There's no reason for me to try and force sales. Prices is kind of like making these equal highs or thereabouts that I feel price will want to come around. So basically, as I am now, I'm interested in looking for buying opportunity because I anticipate price will want to come back up here. Now, if we drop down to the lower time frame, so this was my entry on this pair. We had this Y curve accumulation here. We broke out. I got involved. I think it was on a smaller 1 minute time frame, and the market just did not look back ever since then. So right now, I'm looking to get repositioned in this. Now, so you could see basically the idea that I'm looking at here is if price were to come back down. Now, I know that if price were to find its way back down here, I will be interested in looking for confirmation to buy and continue to take it higher. So I'm looking, basically now what I'm looking for now is confirmation to continue to buy this thing. Okay, so CAD JPY, I will be looking for buys. I will not discuss so much detail as to exactly how I'll get involved because I spoke about, I sent out this one to the private Telegram channel. And if the market sets up, I would also be pointing that one out there. So if you're not on the private Telegram channel, go and fund your account and get added to the group, okay? Otherwise, just continue to enjoy the free content. Now, let's also look at EURUSD. I think it's EURUSD. Okay, EURUSD, yeah, I don't want to explain the setup here because it hasn't materialized just yet, but I'm also looking at this one quite intently. Now, USDCAD or USDCAD is one where I also quite like the idea of looking for buys. Now, this is going to be a much different type of trade in terms of the market is not exactly the clearest, but the market is actually bullish. So right now, I like where we are, and I like the idea of actually looking for potential buys if price comes and taps into this region. Now, I know it has tapped into this region, which is fine, but I'm looking for subsequent retracements into it and then look for the move higher. So I'm looking for a reason to go long. I like the setup very much, especially looking at the fact that the market has been quite bullish for a while. And so there's no reason for me to start betting against the market. Okay, so basically looking to position myself long on this one. If we get if price comes back into this region and I get confirmation to get involved, I'll be looking to get involved in a trade setup, something like so. Now, obviously, I have my own rules for how I get involved and how I continue to manage my positions. But this is a way I'll definitely be interested in. If price doesn't come back here, it's fine. I don't like to chase the market. I like the markets to come to me, and then we have fun. Okay, so that's USDCAD. Would also discuss. Let's also quickly take a look at the USDJPY. No, USDJPY. So USDJPY, similarly to CAD JPY, I also spoke about this one that same day. Price was pushing itself down, and I said, well, I'm not even going to attempt to buy this thing. If anything, I was even looking for sales. And you see how price failed to close below this area, and that is significant in my books because right now, as far as I'm concerned, I feel eventually this is where price wants to get to. So right now you can start looking for bullishness within. So within, as long as price is within this region, it's safe to look for bullish setup, maybe within the smaller time frame to go long. I'm not going to now go. I'm not going to go and explain exactly the setup. I'll reserve that one exactly for the cutting edge class that I would have because the setup is not intact. And well, but basically, I'm looking for bullishness up until price come up to this area. I'm only interested in looking for buys I'm not interested in selling this thing. I know people will probably be looking at, you know, levels to try and sell this thing from. But for me, especially looking at how the market has been extremely bullish since like forever, I'm not going to be the one to start selling this, right? I'm still going to keep looking for my bullishness on this one within a smaller time frame to try and get into good setups to try and take price higher. Liquidity is at the top side on this market, and that's where I'm chasing based on the way, you know, smart money or the composite man basically tends to execute their trade. So that's, I think, those are some, I think we'll just quickly run through about 5-6 instruments just in a brief now. They are a little bit more, but we're going to break down those ones in the class tomorrow in the cutting edge room. But these are the, you know, some of the clearly highlighted pairs looking quite nice. And their setup also could provide good opportunity for the week. And let me just take a quick look at gold. And exactly like I mentioned, we were looking, so since price tap into, please keep your mic muted. Yeah, so since price made its way down here, remember we had this discussion several weeks ago at the time when price was still here. So when price made this bullish pin bar, I kept saying, don't buy that pin bar. Do not buy that pin bar because it doesn't look right. I know it's equal lows and all of those things, but I kept also saying, kept mentioning, the market looks like it wants to come back and take and just test this area here. There are lots of orders that had to be mitigated. And you could see even after several months, maybe I think it's years actually, since September 2020, I remember capitalizing on this move, but since September 2020, the market has ever since just been in this range, right? So, but overall, the market has been bullish. Right now, so the market has come back and tapped down the low of this range, which has established. You could see how we had several areas here. We had two major rejections from here, and then we had two levels touched here. And then, so at the time when price was here, and everybody was anticipating that we've seen the end of the downtrend. There's a pin bar. I kept anticipating that we would probably see a flush out that would just happen aggressively to take price down. So as it stands now, basically, I have to respect that buyers are in control, but buyers need to show more impetus as far as I'm concerned. So what I would like to see now is for price to establish a new high. So basically, on the daily chart, this is what price needs to do to actually put in the new high. It needs to take out this one. So, but in the meantime, I feel it's, looking at this, if I'm going to look for any setup, it's actually to buy, but obviously keep my risk low. I drew this one out since I think it was last week or thereabouts. This was on the 5th, on Friday. I didn't pay attention to it. You can see how price came and tap into it and it's pushing up, which is fine. But basically, if you're looking to trade gold, look for setups to buy because the market looks like it's favoring the upside move or upside movement on this one as well. So I think similar thing with silver and gold as well. Okay, so I think those are the instruments I had in mind to look out together with you guys and see setups that we could potentially trade. I'm sure some of you have some questions or want me to look at an instrument. So I think I could take about 2 of those from you. If you want me to look at any particular instrument, and I would look at them together and see how we can try and take advantage. Remember, when it comes to trading, success in trading is not about opening or closing trades. Success in trading comes from becoming a disciplined trader, having rules and trading based on your rules. So, it's not about win or losses. It's not about profits or stop loss or take profits. It's about having a plan, executing the plan, and having the discipline to execute your plan over and over again unemotional. So success in trading is about taking unemotional, decisive action over and over again. Okay. We already did DXY. Did you just come in? Okay. So meanwhile, if the recording will be uploaded on the YouTube channel after the class. So if you are watching from YouTube, definitely make sure you subscribe and also like. But I'll have to stop the recording here now so that I could then answer your questions.